You're listening to the Oh, Come On Sports Podcast with me, Natasha Staniszewski. Come on now!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Oh, Come On Sports Podcast with your host, Natasha Staniszewski. Happy New Year. I know it's a little bit late to say that. I realize it's February. However, I have not spoken to you since 2021, so I feel like it's still warranted to wish you all a Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us. I am excited to let you know about the new format for the podcast. My co-host last year, Al, is off to do other things. We wish him all the best. So instead, it is going to be just me. Not rambling for minutes and hours on end, thankfully for you. No, instead, we will continue to have some fabulous guests and hopefully keep doing some fabulous interviews. That has been my favorite part in all of this, is getting to know some of these athletes and coaches and just people in the sporting world a little bit better and hearing all their stories. Everybody has a story, no matter who you are. And we've had some great ones so far, and we have some great ones this week with our first guest of 2022. It has been a few months in that I've been trying to get Canadian pro golfer Roger Sloan on the show. I first reached out to him in October, and mostly because of my fault, we've had some trouble coordinating. I had to cancel a few times. My laptop broke down the day we were going to record, but finally the stars have aligned, and I'm super excited to have him on. He is a great guy, great personality. He was on an episode of The Cut where he does a fantastic job, and he has been having a great season so far. He's in his 5th season on the PGA Tour. He is or was born in Calgary, raised in Merritt, BC, and is now living in Texas. He just finished tied for 14th at the American Express. So he's trying to gather a little bit of momentum off of that great finish. And so without further ado, here he is at long last, Canadian pro golfer Roger Sloan. Roger, I wasn't sure this was actually going to happen, but here you are. Welcome to the podcast. We did it. We got organized.
We did. I was waiting all day for some type of excuse why we wouldn't be able to do it tonight.
Well, okay. So to give our listeners some context, I reached out to you in October is when I thought it was November, but I was looking at our messages today and it was October. So it's taken us a while to get organized. Most of that was my fault. I feel I had to postpone a few times.
No, let's be clear. It was all your fault.
Okay, fine. Well, I mean, I get, yeah, it's except you were on vacation a little bit, Christmas.
No, it was, when you were ready, I wasn't ready. And then we had some computer issues
but it was funny. We were just talking about the highways and driving around here in the mountains. So I was in Banff yesterday and I joked with you, the only way this isn't going to happen is if there's some sort of snowstorm. And literally I'm driving this morning. You know how this goes, right? Like you turn the corner around one mountain and out of Canmore, it's like a blizzard for 30 minutes. And I'm like white knuckle driving all the way. And I'm like, I got to get home for Roger. I got to get home. So yes, here I am. I'm glad we're doing this. How are you? How's life? You're taking a little break. How are things going?
You know what? I'm doing great. The new year has started. 2022 is upon us, and I've played a couple tournaments so far. Taking a couple of weeks off just to kind of gear. There's so many golf tournaments about to come around the corner. We got the Players Championship in March, so just kind of being proactive in how many events we play leading up to some of these big events.
Right. Let's start at the beginning. We were just talking. You were born in Calgary, raised in Merritt. How many years did you spend in Calgary?
Not long. I think I was still in diapers when we moved.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember anything about the actual living in Calgary. I think I was maybe a year and a half when we moved. My mom, she moved all over the place with my grandfather, and ended up settling in the later years in Calgary, or Airdrie actually. Okay. And my dad went to SAIT, and I guess they somehow, met there and after marriage, and they got after it and had me pretty quick. Okay. My dad found a job opportunity out in the southern Okanagan. So, when I was a year and a half, we moved out there.
Okay.
And so I was in BC ever since.
Right. So is that where I guess that's where you got kind of your start in golf? Is that where all the magic happened? The magic began?
Funny story. So obviously, like most Canadian kids, I dreamed of Stanley Cups and gold medals. So I played hockey. I mean, that was all I played. I remember growing up, a lake was across the street. So in the wintertime, you just strap on your skates and just do laps and play hockey with all the other kids or whatnot. Literally living like the Canadian dream, that Canadian lifestyle you think about. And I believe it was when I was 10 years old, my dad decided to take the opportunity to own his own business in Merritt. And well, to prelude that, in the summer times, I would play baseball. My dad's passion was baseball. So as a kid, I just in the summertime played baseball, wintertime played hockey. And then when we moved to Merritt didn't have an organized youth baseball program. So summertime didn't really have much going on. So in May, my birthday's in May, my dad bought me a set of golf clubs. Down the hill was the 9-hole golf course. And he just said, $150 membership. He's just like, hey, just go hang out all summer. And, we just started doing laps around there. And gosh, I was 16. Hockey was still what I was the best at.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, hockey, I would say even to this day, hockey's still my passion. I love it. It's such a great sport. I love the team aspect of it. When I was 16, you're getting ready to kind of ship off to go do some junior camps, embark on, you think back at like 16 years old and you're about to go to these junior camps and go live in a foreign city and do that. Like that, you're so young. There's so much you don't know about life. You're not mature, but I, for some reason, just chose, I'm 6'2", I'm 140 pounds, and some 18-year-older is just going to clean my clock. So, how about I take golf maybe a little bit more seriously? I joke, but there's something about golf that really always pulled at my strings. I think one of them was in the back. I could put a 4-year college education in my back pocket pretty easily. That's kind of the route you take. You play junior golf, then you go to college, play your 4 years of college, and then do whatever you want. So I knew that it was a realistic opportunity to, get 4-year education paid for. So that was kind of the reasoning behind choosing golf. And then I just kind of really got good at it. And, here I am today.
So you left because you went to the States, obviously, for college golf, right? You went to Texas. That's a pretty big, and you were young at the time, right? Like we talk about hockey players leaving home when they were young, but that was a pretty big move for you. How did you end up going down there?
Yeah, 18 years old. Culture shock, that's for sure. Like, I joke, small town in Merritt, I'd never seen or talked to a Mexican in my life. And I go to El Paso and it's 80% Hispanic. And so, yeah, it was a culture shock. But man, I thrived in it. I loved the environment. Just El Paso was such a cool city. I got the opportunity to go there. There was a Canadian coach at the time. His name was Rick Todd. He recruited a lot of Canadians, especially Western Canadian golfers, to go play there. And some of the kids that I would look up to. So I remember when I was 16, 17, a couple of the guys that were a little bit older than me, Chris Barilla, James Allenby, Zach Hildebrand. These are the guys that, I kind of looked up to. And Rick he kind of found me. Kind of a crazy story, but he found me and he offered me a scholarship. For me, it was kind of a dream come true to go to university where some of the guys that I looked up to went to. And so there's a nice little Canadian contingent. Made the transition a little bit easier for sure. You had guys on your team that you could relate to, watch hockey with, that type of stuff. So, and it was great. It was where I met my wife too. So I'm super thankful for my time in El Paso.
Can you expand on that crazy story about how your coach found you? Because I obviously did my research and I read it, but for people who are listening who don't know it, can you get into it a little bit?
Yeah. So the whole process of getting a golf scholarship as a Canadian golfer is quite daunting. As a Canadian, you're not really aware of all of the universities that do exist in the United States. And so, I'm 16, 17, and I'm like, okay, well, you got to send out some letters to these coaches to let them know who you are, maybe send a video or something like that. So the only universities that I'm really aware of are, your Floridas, your Oklahoma States, USC, Oregon. I mean, the big schools, Texas, all these big schools that, we hear of when we're watching maybe college football or whatnot. Or, some of the programs that have won golf national championships. So I send out my letters. They've obviously made their commitments for my graduating year, and they're, well, thanks for your interest. Unfortunately, we're already committed for our 2005 class. So I'm just getting no after no after no after no. And like I said, a couple of the guys before me that I looked up to had gone to El Paso. So in the back of my mind, I was always like, man, I would love to go to El Paso, but I don't want to send a letter because I don't know how I would handle a rejection letter. So I'm 17 years old. I'm playing the Canadian Junior Championship at Marine Drive Golf Club in Vancouver, and it's the first round. And I'm actually playing pretty good. I think I'm under par, and I have the early first round lead of the golf tournament. And I'm on the 7th tee box. I can still remember it. And there's a nice big cedar hedge right around the tee box, and you hear the cedars ruffling around, and all of a sudden out pops Rick Todd, the coach of UTEP. And I'm literally on the tee box, and it was adjacent to the parking lot. They were just trying to find their way onto the golf course. They didn't realize that they would be interrupting play. Come to find out, what happened was there was another junior in my group that somebody had recommended Rick to come watch. And, Rick always tells the story to me. It was pretty apparent after 3 holes. I watched you hit it way into the right trees. You walked in there, you grabbed your 9-iron, you chipped it back in the middle of the fairway, you wedged it on the green, you made your putt for par. He said, I saw how, you didn't try to make any hero shots. You knew what you needed to do, and you went out and did it. And that was the type of player that I wanted on my team. And so, to go from a couple of days earlier and have no idea where you wanted to go to university to then going to the university you really wanted to go to was a pretty cool story.
I love it. Yeah, that is awesome. Obviously, it worked out for you big time. So you've been down there for 17 years-ish. Is that right?
Whoa, is that it? Yeah, I guess 16 and a half years. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. What do you miss about Canada?
Oh, man. I miss the 2 things I miss most, obviously, is the landscape. Growing up in British Columbia, Alberta, having the landscape, having just the ability to go outdoors and enjoy Canada, enjoy Canada, whatever it is, eating dinner, having drinks, whatever it is on a patio late at night as it cools down in the summertime, ski hills, mountain biking, fishing. I mean, you name it. Just Canada is just it's just such a great country in that regard. And 2, the people, I miss Canadian people. I just miss Canadians being Canadians, getting together, whatever, talking hockey and jawing at each other because they cheer for the wrong hockey team, playing golf. I mean, Canadians love golf. It's just, I do. I just miss Canadians. They're nice people. And that's probably what I've missed the most. And obviously with the last, 24 months what we've gone through, I haven't been able to experience much of Canada. So it's been a tough time for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are all hoping things get back to normal sooner rather than later, for sure. So what was the grind like for you trying to sort of make the big time? I know players, you can go up and down kind of between the Corn Ferry and the PGA Tour. How tough is that?
I could see how that would definitely be a grind, but I think I've got a pretty good perspective on it in the sense that, I'm just challenging myself to be the best that I can be, no matter what level that is, whether it's the PGA Tour, the Corn Ferry Tour, or even if you're on PGA Tour Canada, or maybe you have to go over and play in Europe. It's just, what opportunities do we have in front of us, and, use that challenge to see how good I can be. Just kind of more controlling what I can control rather than everything else. So definitely a little bit of a journeyman career for sure. Definitely didn't come out of the blocks like some of these phenoms did. But, I challenge myself every single day when I wake up, just be better than I was yesterday. And I take baby steps. That's who I am. So I get a little bit better and a little bit better every single day. But I can look myself in the mirror every year and say I'm a little bit better player than I was last year. And that's really all I'm focused on, is just improving myself day to day.
In August, you had to finish 19th at the Wyndham Championship to keep your tour card. You ended up in that 6-man playoff, came so close to winning the whole thing. Did you learn anything about yourself in that moment?
I learned how to win on the PGA Tour in that moment. Even though I didn't win, I learned how. I kind of, like, I joke with my caddy, it's almost like I accidentally stumbled upon the winning formula. And so I'll kind of elaborate on that.
Please.
You mentioned I needed to finish 19th to keep my tour card. And, you got to play good on the PGA Tour to finish in the top 20. And obviously it's a solo 19th, and the chances of finishing solo 19th are obviously a lot lower. So I knew it was going to have to be like the 15 and higher. You needed a T15 or higher. I knew I was playing good, but at the same time, the whole week, it's just this massive elephant in the room, right? It's just like, okay, you just know what you have to do. And the pressure's building, and, I just I remember talking with my wife, and, do I figure out the number? Do I not figure out the number? And then obviously you got some obnoxious friends that text you, hey, they just tweeted that you need to finish 19th. I'm like, oh, thanks. Well, I guess I know now, right? And I just remember, my wife and I sitting there one evening, and she just looks at me and says, what's the worst that can happen? Like you got 150, 126 to 150 status locked up. That's going to give you a handful of starts next year. And you can even if you don't make it, you go back to the Korn Ferry Tour finals, you're playing really good, and you get your tour card back that way. Or, there's just so many different unknowns and, things that you don't know how everything plays out. So just put it all out there and don't worry about it. And so that was kind of our motto for the week. And so the first 9 holes I played on Thursday, man, was I nervous. I was so nervous. I was apprehensive. It was like, I was trying to be too careful. I didn't want to make a mistake. And I mean, I had like 4. So I was 3 over par through 11 holes, and I had made like 4 incredible up and downs in those 11 holes. So it was just disaster. I was a train wreck. And at that point, I'm 3 over par, and I'm like, all right, well, I got nothing to lose now. I relaxed, and I started playing some really good golf, just playing, golf my way. And fast forward to the 4th round, we put ourselves in a really good position. I think I was T6 going into that round. So I knew that if I shot under par that day, I was probably getting the job done and securing my PGA Tour card. And I remember on the back 9, I was on the 13th. I was on the 14th tee box, probably the most demanding hole of the golf course. And I kind of vaguely saw a scoreboard, and, I think I was at, what would I have been at? I think 13 under par. And I saw that 11 under par was kind of the number. And I'm like, man, okay, well, if I make 2 more bogeys, I might not be keeping my card. And in the same breath, I'm like, man, if I make 2 more birdies, I might win the golf tournament. And I was like, there's so much to think about right now.
Yeah.
So overwhelming in a sense that I was just like, the only thing right now that I can actually control is just my next shot. And the next 5 holes that I played were just absolutely flawless. I never missed a single shot. I actually played well the entire day.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up birdieing 16, 17 and getting ourselves in a playoff there. But it was just kind of in that moment, I kind of stumbled upon the winning formula in the sense that there's so much going on. There's so many things that you cannot control, that the only thing you can control is the next shot. And I know that sounds super cliche, and it's something that I work on all the time. This isn't a new concept, but I actually was able to like feel it and live that moment and really understand what that is all about. And no amount of practice can prepare you for that situation. So to kind of stumble upon that was like, wow, that's cool. So no, you can't win every single week on the PGA Tour, but I definitely know now that, the next time I'm in that situation, I know how to handle it, and, we can, come out with the trophy next time.
Because it doesn't even sound like you were nervous really in the playoffs. Like, it sounds like that opening 9 holes on Thursday was way worse than being in the actual playoff.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that weird? Like,
yes.
You would think you would be super nervous because now you have a chance to win the tournament. I was just joking that playoff was absolute madness. It was chaos. You have six players, 6 caddies. You have 3 rules officials. You have a bunch of executives from Wyndham that are also there. So, I mean, you look at it, it looked like a traditional member guest where you just had so many people on a hole. It was a zoo. But I remember in that moment, I was so present, and I was looking around at all the other players, and you could tell how much it meant. Like, Kevin Na was super fidgety, right? You could tell like he really, really wanted it. Kisner, he was calm and collect, but he was super serious. He was, I got to do this. And a couple of the other guys, they were locked in and, trying to do that. Whereas me, I was actually the most relaxed I had been all week in that moment. And as a result, I actually think I played the 2 playoff holes better than anybody else. I hit a really good shot in there in the first hole. Adam Scott hit it in closer, unfortunately missed the putt. We both missed the putt. Yeah. But, and then I had a chance, and I hit the green, and on the second hole and had another good look to make a birdie. And I was relaxed. I was in the present, and I was just, enjoying my time of it, in there. So it was kind of cool to, like I said, kind of accidentally stumble upon how to play really well. So we've been able to carry some of that momentum here into the start of this season.
Right. Can you, I guess the question is do you feel like a camaraderie amongst the Canadian golfers? Like, there's so many of you guys now, it seems like every weekend, every event, it's you or Nick Taylor or Adam Hadwin or Corey Connors or whoever, somebody is like always in the mix. Obviously you want to win, but are you kind of always silently cheering some of these guys on?
No, because they all cheer for the wrong hockey teams. So I don't
okay. We'll get to the hockey teams later, actually. Yeah.
No, to your point, yes. I mean, it's so great. Like I said, like you said, at the Wyndham Championship, I was in a playoff. A couple of the guys stick around, Adam Hadman had a great finish. He was just a couple of groups ahead of me on Sunday, so he stuck around, showed his support. Gliggs was standing around. A couple of the other Canadian caddies are there too. Obviously some guys have travel plans. They got to get out of there. But at the end of the day, if you got a Canadian buddy playing well, you're gonna stick around and support. And it's nice. It's nice having a lot of those Canadian guys, somebody you can relate to, talk hockey to. We play a lot of practice rounds with them. Mackenzie Hughes has his little guy is the same age as my oldest daughter. And, they have 2 kids now. We got 2 kids. We hang out with them quite a bit. So it's just nice. It's nice, seeing some familiar faces out there all the time. And I think it's great for Canadian golf, because I remember when I was growing up, we just had 2 or 3 guys. And, now for the youngsters to see 8, 9, sometimes 10 Canadians in a field, I mean, it just shows that Canadian golf is strong, it's growing, and, hopefully we can get some more major championships out of guys soon.
How do you feel your game is right now? You just came off the American Express, I believe, tied for 14th. How are you feeling about things?
No, I'm building off of some of the lessons that I learned last year. And like I said, just trying to get better. So, I think things are coming together really nicely. And I think I'm going to start having a little bit more consistency on the PGA Tour. And what that translates into, I'm not sure. But, I know deep in my heart that if I can just be the best that I can be, we can do some really cool things. So, I'm just working towards that, and just, like I said, just trying to grow. And, I'm just seeing little things, just kind of another piece of the puzzle start, putting together. And I'm at that point where you can really see the big picture of what you're building. So it's really exciting for me. It's been a long time, a lot of hard work, and it's been a lengthy process, but, it's kind of, to me, like it's like bamboo, right? Bamboo, does it take 5 years or 6 months to grow? Because it takes 4.5 years for it to sprout, and 6 months to shoot up 30 feet. So, just putting in the work, just watering it. And I think I'm starting to kind of break ground here, and, who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be a fun ride.
Are you playing in the Waste Management? Is that next for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to play, it's going to be the start of 3 in a row, Phoenix, and then I'll play Riviera for the Genesis, and then I'll go to the Honda in Florida. So those are 3 really good golf courses for us, and I wouldn't miss that gong show of a tournament in Phoenix.
Okay, that's where I'm going to get this question. Do you love the gong show, or it sounds like you do from the smile on your face? You like all the fans and all the action?
I do. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why I do it. We're entertainers. We're here to put on a show. People want to see us hit great golf shots, and I mean, what better venue than Phoenix? It's going to be the closest thing that I ever get to playing in an NHL rink. So when you got 30,000 crazies just screaming and hollering for you to hit a shot close and boo you when you miss the green, it's a pretty cool environment. Get your blood pumping. It's pretty neat.
I saw your episode on The Cut. It's called, right? Do I have that right?
Yeah.
The Cut?
Yeah, The Cut. Yeah, it used to be inside the PGA Tour. They rebranded it The Cut.
So how did that come about? And was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. It was nice. They did, they wanted to choose a player that hadn't had a spotlight in quite some time. And, so they chose me. They asked me, like, hey, what do you want to do? I think one thing, like, I wanted to showcase a little bit of the wine. I wanted to showcase my club that has an incredible wine cellar. But at the same time, we also wanted to showcase a little bit of the normal family life that we lead when we're at home. Mm-hmm. I feel like sometimes sports athletes can be glorified a little bit too much with their glamorous lifestyle, their fancy cars and their big houses. And we live in it's a spectacular house, but it's modest, for the Texas area, and we have a great neighborhood, and we just love hanging out with the kids. And, it's more about that quality time with the kids when we're home and spending time with the neighbors, and, really investing in people and relationships. And, that's kind of who we are. And we wanted to showcase that a little bit. And, then we got the opportunity, obviously, to showcase a little bit of the wine, which kind of has been a little bit of a new hobby for me. And that was cool to kind of get in the cellar and open up some good juice.
Yeah, I thought it was a great sort of behind the scenes look at you and your family and the wine. That was, I didn't see that coming. Where did you get that love for wine? Where did that come from?
Man, I don't know. Like, I guess I want to act sophisticated, so I want to, gotta sip wine to be sophisticated. I don't know. And what's really interesting is I actually really don't drink alcohol that much. I actually rarely ever drink alcohol. I'll have a beer now and again with some of the guys, but other than that, I don't really drink much. But I started, every time we would go to Napa for a Napa event, you do a couple tastings, and you kind of had a different sense of different things. And then through some of the friends and relationships that we've built, either through our club here in Houston, which is wine eccentric, they love it, and the relationship, like I said, in Napa, I've kind of just been getting into it from more of an affinity for like quality winemaking, and really expanding my palate and testing new things, and just man, it's a deep, dark rabbit hole, but it's something that I kind of enjoy doing. And I think the thing that really I enjoy the most about wine is wine brings people together. It's a great opportunity to, hey, we got a cool bottle, get 5 or 6 people together, and just, and then hours later, you've had great conversation. You've gotten to know some people a little bit better. And I think that's what I love most about wine, is it's just it's an opportunity to bring people together.
Right. So have you had the chance, because you probably don't spend a ton of time in BC anymore, have you had the chance to go to some of the wineries there? Because there are some fantastic wineries, obviously, you probably know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge advocate for the Okanagan wine scene anywhere I go, yes, whether it's Napa or here in Texas. But yeah, like I would say expanded wine knowledge hasn't happened until like the last 18 months or maybe 2 years. So no, I haven't been able to go to a lot of the wineries just in the last couple of years. But, I'm excited to go there because there are a number of places that are popping up that are producing some really good wines. And, so it's definitely on the bucket list to go through there and, build some relationships in the Okanagan that's close to home.
Okay, give me a recommendation, because I did dry January, so no alcohol this month. Today is the last day. So tomorrow, if I want it, I can have a glass of alcohol. So if I was going to have a glass of wine, what would you recommend? What do you like?
Well,
favorite?
So what does your palate kind of like go towards? Are you reds? Are you whites?
I like both, but I usually gravitate toward red. And I'm usually like, I am not sophisticated at all. Like any Cabernet Sauvignon is usually what I go towards, but I don't know if things are sweet or dry or any of that.
Yeah. So I love Cab Sauvs. I like the big, the bold, the dry. So I don't know too many Canadian stuff right now. I don't know how much you get in Canada. Like how easy is it to get like a Napa or like Frank?
I have a few friends who I think could hook me up. I have a few friends that are pretty into wine. Yeah, they do some crazy ordering from all over the place. So I bet you I could get something. Yeah. So
my favorite is produced by a friend of mine. So Bure Family Wine. So Val Bure, who used to play for played for the Montreal Canadiens and played for the Calgary Flames. So he's been a good friend of mine, and he's producing Bure Family, some absolutely phenomenal wine right now. He's been hard at it for years, and he's seeing the fruits of his labor come to right now. He's got some really good stuff. Sneaky. So, okay. I don't necessarily have any particular bottles that I would recommend other than Bure. Bure is my favorite right now, but particular regions within Napa, I definitely gravitate towards Howell Mountain a little bit. It's got a little bit more minerality in the grapes, so you get a little bit more texture that comes to you when you're drinking it. And then if you get anything from the To Kalon vineyard, you're probably drinking some really good stuff. So
Okay.
Those are my recommendations. Anything from Howell Mountain or Beckstoff or Tokelan or Bure, and you're going to be having a good night.
You sound like a real expert right now, by the way.
I know, I'm very impressed. I'm really not that big of an expert, but as it's been developing, you just kind of hit some soft spots for the good stuff.
Right. Okay. So yeah, Val, you just mentioned Valerie Burry was on the cut with you. You've brought up hockey a couple of times, so clearly you're still a hockey fan. So are the Flames your team, or are you a Canucks fan?
No, I'm Flames fan. Yeah. Jerome McGinley was always my favorite player growing up. And obviously being born in Calgary and having a connection with there, kind of always been a Flames fan. So, I do. I'm a guy, I'll admit it. I cheer for all the Canadian teams, if any Canadian teams in the finals. Well, man, it would be tough to cheer for the Oilers. But if they were, I would love to see the cup return to Canada. But we cheer on the Flames every time they play.
Do you get a chance to see all the games down there?
No. I mean, like on TV and stuff like that. So, they subscribe to like ESPN Plus just did it. It's actually really nice. They just did a deal with ESPN Plus. So I get to watch all the games on my phone or whenever, the kids aren't crazy.
Right. Do you get a chance? Do you play anymore?
So secretly, yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, actually, no, I played in a men's league here in Houston, which is actually really good hockey because there's so many transplant Canadians within like the oil and gas industry here.
Right.
And especially like, people from the Northeast or even the Midwest that grew up playing hockey. So the hockey is actually pretty good here in Houston. I have not played in the last 3 years though. So since I've been like really full go in the PGA Tour, there's a few, it's men's hockey, guys. There's a few guys that take it a little bit too seriously, and always, and it's just like, man, if I had a desk job, I would be there every week, but it's not worth it to have some guy do something stupid to you and I can't swing a golf club the next week. So
yeah, well, hopefully your Flames do well. I mean, they look really good so far. Looks like they can put together a decent playoff run if they keep going.
Yeah, what I like about them is defensively they're really good, and I think that's the type of team that you need when it comes to the playoff time when the games get a little bit tighter. Obviously COVID kind of hit them hard. They were just kind of getting into their stride, so I think they'll bounce back. They got a lot of games in a row now between now and the end of the season, but I think come playoff time, their defensive play is definitely gonna be an advantage.
Will help them, and their goaltending for sure. Okay, I got a couple more for you, and then I'm going to let you go. For somebody like me who's been golfing for 7 years now, finally broke 100.
Congrats.
Last season, which was like a big monkey off my back. Any tips for a person like me? That's a very open-ended question. I realize that. But
where's your strengths? Where's your weaknesses?
Short game. Short game is my weakness, of course.
Well, it's the golf conundrum. I mean, how many people, as soon as they get to the golf course, straight to the driving range, I'm going to hit like 6 9-irons, and then I'm going to rip driver, right? It's like, it's great. It's for me, I'm in my club and I go to the chipping green and I got it all to myself because nobody ever comes and works on their chipping. Right. So, short game. I got a buddy of mine. He's kind of in the same boat. He's just started playing golf for a couple years now. He's into the 90s, but now he really wants to get into the 80s. So he just started, getting into the 90s. But basically, I was just like try to hit 5 greens in regulation. Right. And then after that, the biggest thing is on your first chip, make sure you hit the green. That's it. Don't worry about where the pin is. Because if you think about your short game, right, like how many times do you maybe get up to the green in 3 or 4 shots, whatever it is, and then it takes you another 3 or 4 to get onto the green, right?
Yes, exactly.
And it's like, well, you're trying to hit it close and then you decelerate or you whatnot. It's like, hey, like eliminate the pin, just get it onto the green. So you're going to eliminate 8 strokes right there at the end of the day by just chipping it onto the green. Don't even worry about where the pin is, right? Once you get that confidence of chipping it onto the green or into the middle of the green on your first chip, then we can work on precision and getting it close to the pin. But what you want to do is you want to eliminate the fact that it takes you 2 or 3 chips to get it onto the green. that make sense?
It does, but you haven't seen my putting. So in theory, I like your tip. That it makes sense. I know what you're saying. Yeah, but I got to work.
I did watch a video of you doing some thing on Instagram, a little putting thing at one of the golf courses there in Calgary.
It wasn't live though, right? It was probably like an 80th take.
Yeah, they made you look like a scratch putter.
Exactly. That is the magic of TV right there. Okay, I'm going to remember that tip though. That's a good one. Okay, my final question for you. Do you have a favorite Canadian golf course?
Tobiano.
Okay, so many people say that. I haven't played there yet, but so many people mention that one to me.
Yeah, and it's to the point where I think if I only had one round left, that's probably the round that I would choose to play. It's obviously not a golf course that's ever going to compete with your Pine Valleys and your Pebble Beaches and your Cypress Point and all those wonderful places. But the thing I like about Tobiano is that it's unique to itself. It's such a interesting design with all the, the clay hoodoos that they got there on the bluff of the lake. Fantastic layout. Thomas McBroom did a wonderful job with it. Mm-hmm. The course maintenance is incredible. You're always getting very good conditions every single time you play it. And then I got married there too. So
there you go.
There's a little sentiment there on the 15th tee. So it's a cool place. I got to spend the first 4 years of my professional career practicing out of there all the time. So I got to play out there quite a bit when it first opened. And it's a very awesome place. And I would recommend it to anybody that is ever in that area trying to play golf.
Amazing. Do you have a course on your bucket list that you've yet to play that you would love to play anywhere in the world?
It's interesting you say that because I play golf for a living, like going and playing recreational golf doesn't really ever pique my interest, because it's like, all right, I'm done playing golf. I just want to go home and just do nothing. And then when I'm at home, I just want to stay home and practice at my own golf course. I've always wanted to play Pine Valley. I would say that's probably the only golf course that I'm literally would I just want to say that I've played Pine Valley. But more than that, anybody that knows me, I think what I want more is just to have a really good game with 3 or 4 other guys in a group. It doesn't really matter where we play, whether we play the, Muni 9-hole track or whatever. I just want to have a good time with, 3 or 4 other guys and, or girls for that matter, and just have a good time and, play for a couple bucks and, have a drink afterwards and, just enjoy our time together. That's what I love about golf. That's what I really, really love about golf. So that's, to me, is more important than playing any specific golf course.
Awesome. Well said. I love the social aspect too. Playing golf is one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, was to start playing. There's so many great things about it.
Yeah. And it's so, it pains me because so many people that, are in our stage of life are like, oh man, I wish I had started earlier. And you're like, oh yeah, it's, I wish I had played it in high school or whatnot and had a little bit more introduction earlier in life, because it is if you think about it, it's such a great recreational sport because you can play it from the age of 12 to the, or even earlier, all the way to you're 90 years old. How many other sports like that? It's not like you and I can go and just pick up a football and play a game of football, when we're 45 or whatever. So it's unique in that sense. And the other aspect that I like about it is that you and I can go play together, right? Exactly. It's not like you can go have a game with Serena Williams in tennis, right? It's just not going to be fun for her. It's not going to be fun for you, but you and I can go play golf together. We can enjoy the golf course. You're probably going to need a lot of strokes on me. So you're probably going to end up winning. And I'll pay you your $15 at the end of the day, and then we'll go have a drink and you'll pay. And, that's what's fun about it. That's really what I really love about golf.
Well, whenever you get back to Canada, you'll have to come back and play some of these courses in the mountains here. Have you played any of the ones out here, Stewart Creek or Kananaskis or anything?
Played, I believe Stewart Creek is actually the only one I haven't played. Played Kananaskis, played Canmore. What's the other one? Silvertip, played that one. But I still remember my first ever father-son tournament or trip to Kananaskis. We played the Mount Kidd course. And what a spectacular setting there, and backdrops of the mountains. Yeah. fantastic place. And, you remember times like that. I think I was probably only 12 or 13 years old when that happened, but, memories for a lifetime.
I was going to say one of the reasons I love golf is because it's something I can do with my dad and my brother now, and didn't have a whole lot I could do with them before. So it's awesome to have those moments. Yeah. But that kind of family time. So I get it. Thank you for this. It has been awesome talking golf and everything else. I'm so glad we finally made it happen.
Yeah, I was actually, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get into any of that banana zucchini bread that you made a couple weeks ago.
Are you a foodie as well, on top of being a sommelier?
I'm kind of getting into it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Like a baker or a chef, or because you're right. I mean, what was it? Oh, the banana zucchini loaf.
Yeah. I think this was in October when you had first reached out, and then you made, I love banana bread. I love it. And then you made banana zucchini bread, and I was like, okay, it's interesting. I've never had banana zucchini bread, but it would probably be pretty good.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's okay. I mean, I prefer the two separately, but it was fine.
And then you went on your beet binge. Was that last week?
That was last week. Yeah. I have basically a whole tray in my freezer of beet brownies because I have no one to give it to right now. Right. I make all this stuff now. I need to find more friends in Calgary because I don't know a heck of a lot of people out here. So the baking's taken a bit of a hit just because I don't have a lot of people to give it to and I don't want to eat it all, but I kind of love experimenting. So
yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it's cool. I'm in that point of life too, where I'm kind of like, I want to kind of put a garden in the backyard and start growing some of my own like produce and fruit, just to have a little bit more control over, what you kind of put in your body a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that's I'm starting on that. It's just more curiosity right now of just kind of going a little bit more natural in certain areas. So again, that's probably the power of social media pushing me in some direction that wouldn't otherwise have gone into, but just kind of learning, just trying to figure out what's best for our body going forward.
Are you pretty heavy into do you have a strict kind of regimen that you follow? No. Okay.
I have a baseline, like I work with a nutritionist. And so we work on essentials that I need in order to function properly on a golf course, so I'm making sure that I'm getting my amino acids for my joint health. I'm making sure that I'm getting proper fats so that my brain stays, my brain doesn't cramp or whatever, that is well nutrition. So, there's certain things when I'm on the road, I'm pretty particular about what I eat. But again, like if someone puts ice cream in front of me, I'm not saying no to it. But you just make sure that you get proper amount of protein and veggies, and making sure that, and since I've done that, it's been remarkable how much inflammation is going up, but inflammation is going down. Just my inflammation has gone down just by, and not doing anything crazy, but just making sure that I'm getting, the essentials down pat. And then when you tend to get the essentials down pat, you have a little less room for those nasty stuff that you should be saying no to.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I feel like you have a pretty good perspective on it all. Like you're pretty balanced about this whole golf career of yours.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah. I try not to be too extreme on anything. I always kind of weigh everything. Like you said, weigh the good, weigh the bad. Everything, anybody can take anything to the extreme. So you just kind of, I think it's important to kind of pick and choose for you what's important to you. Really know yourself, right? Self-awareness is, it's huge. So self-awareness in of itself is curative. So there's a quote for you. But I got balanced, I guess. I like that.
Did having kids change things at all for you?
I don't think so. Obviously having kids does change certain things, definitely puts things in some areas of your life into perspective. But I've always been really intrigued and challenged myself to build good character. Right. And so that, that character then helps you make proper decisions in all areas of your life. So whether it's nutrition or finance or playing golf or whatever it is. So I think, really just finding, what it means to build and have good character, really kind of, that's the person that you take around all over the place. That's the person that you take to every decision that you make. So that to me is something that's very important to me.
Amazing. All right. I think we're gonna leave it right there. That's a perfect spot to end. Thank you again so much for doing this. I will be keeping an eye on you, as I'm sure many Canadians will, the rest of the way. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
We will do this again.
Yes, we will.
Sometime down the road.
In like probably 3 or 4 years.
When you win your first big event, how about that? When you win a major. Okay,
so all right. Okay, sounds good. So like June or July.
Perfect. It'll happen. Okay, thanks, Roger. Good luck.
Cool. Thank you.
You're listening to the Oh Come On Sports Podcast with me, Natasha Staniszewski. Come on!